Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. Well, today I'm starting off fairly later than usual, but hey, later is better than never. So, again, we're looking at the ongoing civil war taking place inside of the former state of Ethiopia. And today, specifically, there's a couple of things I want to look at, but mainly right now, I've titled this video, obviously, Battlefield Ethiopia, and then the date, and then Total War. So the reason I'm calling it Total War is because of the size of the mobilization that we are seeing, really from all sides of the conflict. And we're going to go around and we're going to have a look at some of the continued preparations for armed conflict that is ongoing. And first and foremost, we're going to look at the Amhara region. So the Amhara region really kind of continues to mobilize its forces. It is probably right now continuing to mobilize at a pace that is even greater than the Abiy loyalist formations in Addis Ababa, also known as Finfine. And as I talked about before, many of these Amhara formations, such as the Fano paramilitary militias, continue to act really separately from the federal forces, and in many cases have their own sets of strategies and ideas in terms of what they are trying to do in this conflict. And again, we continue to see the Amhara region bristling with training camps and a continued military buildup of its vast light infantry forces. Now, with that being said, the buildup in the Amhara region is done rather haphazardly. The training is not as in depth, obviously, as let's say the Tigrayan Defense Forces or even the Abiy loyalist formations of the federal forces or the federal regional police forces or the federal forces as well, federal police forces. But again, they continue to train and deploy vast amounts of personnel for ongoing conflict. And as we know, fighting continues in the Amhara region, specifically now northeast of Sakota, with the Tigrayan Defense Forces renewing operations very close to Sakota and in predominant areas such as northeast of Sakota. We also continue to see the B loyalist formations continue to build up as well, and specifically the federal forces, both the federal police forces and the Ethiopian National Defense Forces, those of B loyalist formations. Now, these forces are not in the same level of preparation and preparedness that we saw at the onset of the conflict more than a year ago. Many of these units have suffered catastrophic casualties. We've seen entire divisions and brigades destroyed in the Tigray region and in the Amhara region as well. And many of these units are having to do complete refurbishing and complete rebuilds of some of these divisional and brigade units, as many of them were just completely annihilated in the northern Amhara region and the Tigray region as well. So again, I know we have talked about and heard reports that the federal forces may at some point launch an offensive into the Tigray region, but at this point, we do not believe that is going to happen. They will continue to support the Amhara regional militias and the farm regional militias, but right now they appear to have their hands really kind of full fighting the Oromo Liberation Army and preventing the Oromo Liberation Army to continue to overrun towns and areas in especially the western Oromia region. Now, with that being said as well, we continue to see the Oromia region continue to mobilize for this all-out civil war that is taking place. Both loyalist Oromo formations and the formations that are loyal to the Oromo Liberation Army that is anti-Abiy. But again, we're really seeing the buildup of both forces. As of right now, we continue to see the Oromo Liberation Army continuing to expand, continuing to deploy more and more forces to fight the Abiy loyalist formations, and in some cases, we've even seen them cross the border into the Amhara region as well, such as some of the recent operations where they joined up with the Tigrayan Defense Forces near the town of Komise. Now, with that being said, we continue to see the Tigrayan Defense Forces mobilizing as well. So right now, we can estimate that the TDF is sitting anywhere from right now between 2 and 250,000 personnel. They continue to reconstitute after the punitive invasion of the Amhara region, which saw those Tigrayan Defense Forces penetrate as much as 160 miles all the way past Kombolcha and Dese, past Komise, and within the environs of Debre Burhan. But again, those forces continue to mobilize en masse. There has always been a fairly good infrastructure within the Tigray region for the deployment training of these special regional police units and forces that would augment the standing Tigrayan defense forces. So again, right now, at the beginning of the conflict, the Tigrayan defense forces probably numbered in the neighborhood of around 10,000 plus or minus active duty personnel once the hostilities were initiated by the Eritrean army and the Abiy loyalist formations. And again, they were attacked very viciously by both the Eritrean army and the Abiy loyalist formations with vast sums of firepower to include drones. So it's been a year buildup to go from that 10,000 personnel the TDF had at the start of the conflict to now numbering over 200,000 fighters. And again, after the Abiy loyalists and the Eritrean army was evicted from the Tigray region, and the final mobilizations took place and were actually ongoing, especially in the Tinbian region, where vast amounts of forces fled from cities such as Mekelle, Adigrat, Adwa, Axum, Shire to join its training regiments that were operating in the Tinbian region in the central southern hills and mountains of Tigray to eventually deploy those forces, which were able to successfully evict the Eritrean army and the Abiy loyalist formations. But right now, the Tigrayan Defense Forces continue to mobilize. They continue to train up and deploy additional forces. And right now, as I've talked about in previous videos, we are seeing operations both in Western Tigray. We continue to see operations near Adi Arke. And now we're seeing additional operations just to the northeast of Sokoto, as the TDF continue to mount cross-border strikes into the Amhara region, and both the Amhara region and the Afar region near Abala. But that is the current news for today. Again, I would say that in terms of, as I initially talked about in the video, about the whole issue of total war, it really does appear that at least on the surface, any type of political settlement has been put on the back burner, and really all concerned parties, the TDF, Amhara Regional Militias, Oromo Liberation Army, Oromo Regional Forces, Abiy Loyalist Forces, Ethiopian National Defense Forces, Afar Regional Forces, everybody is mobilizing right now to full max capacity to eventually fight total war, and we're kind of seeing that now. But again, we're going to continue to monitor the situation. We believe a fairly large operation is getting close in terms of the a operation being launched by the Tigrayan Defense Forces against quite possibly multiple targets, both in Western Tigray and possibly one or two other locales as well. Again, the mobilization continues. The force construct continues to grow and get larger day by day. So we definitely anticipate to see something here very, very soon. I want to talk about one other issue just real quick before I sign off. We have been able to absolutely confirm with satellite photographs that indeed the TB2 drone is active in the former state of Ethiopia that was given to them by the Turkish government. We've heard reports that would indicate that they are absolutely there. We have seen certain types of munitions that have been deployed by drones that would indicate that they are launching the MAM-L missile. But again, this would be the first confirmed case where we have actually seen directly a TB2 drone sitting at a Ethiopian National Defense Force Air Force base. So again, just wanted to talk about that real quick and just confirm that the Turks are actively providing to the Abiy loyalist formations. And again, in all probability, direct contract forces are actually operating those drones as well. So the individuals actually pulling the trigger and launching drone strikes on Tigrayans and the Oromia region are Turks. So again, that's the news for today. We'll have more very, very soon. Have a good day, everybody.